Today we're talking about the top 3 mistakes that most new teachers make when they're just starting to teach accents, dialects, and pronunciation. So if you're interested in teaching accents, dialects, or pronunciation and you're not sure how to do it or where to start, or if you've been approached by students who want to work with you, but you're not sure how to structure a session or structure a lesson, then you're going to really benefit from learning these 3 mistakes so you can avoid them. Now, maybe you're already working with students, you're teaching them to speak English if you're an ESL teacher, but you don't know how to incorporate pronunciation training into your lessons. Or maybe you already have your own students, but the sessions aren't going so well, and you could use a few pointers. If any of that sounds familiar, then pay attention because you're going to learn a lot by learning these 3 mistakes. I talk to a lot of new teachers, especially the teachers in my teacher training program. I really get to know their struggles very well because I communicate with them a lot. And when I'm helping them troubleshoot where they're going wrong with their programs, with their sessions, and with their businesses, I see these mistakes over and over. Plus, I made every one of these mistakes when I was just starting to teach myself. So my hope is that by sharing these mistakes with you, that you can avoid them completely. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jessica, and I'm a speech-language pathologist who specializes in teaching accents, dialects, and English pronunciation. Here at Teachers School at the Accent Channel, I help accent and pronunciation instructors and speech coaches sharpen their teaching skills so they can find their own students and not have to work for someone else as they build their own accent and pronunciation training businesses. So let's start here with the top 3 accent and pronunciation instructor mistakes. Now, these are all things that I wish I would have known 20 years ago when I was just starting out. I made every one of these mistakes, so let's get to it. Mistake number 1, working on every sound of English. No one needs to work on every single sound of English. Even to learn a perfect American accent, if I'm working with an actor and they have a lot of things to work on, even with a very thick accent, no one needs to work on every sound in English. You want to work on the sounds that make the biggest impact first. And I call these high-value sounds. These are the sounds that will make the most dramatic improvement in your student's speech. You want to start with something that is going to give you dramatic improvement because when the student hears that improvement, they'll get excited to continue. They'll be motivated to continue working with you and to schedule more sessions. Give them that quick win and they will definitely come back for more. A high-value sound is a sound that occurs frequently in English. It affects rhythm. It doesn't exist in the student's native accent or language, so that they're not used to hearing it or pronouncing it. And a high-value sound often changes a word into a different word, which affects the meaning and results in the student saying something that they didn't mean to say. Many non-native speakers reverse these 2 sounds. So, as an example, they end up saying leave when they meant to say live. They might end up saying, I leave here, instead of I live here. They don't realize that they're doing it. It's really confusing for the listener. Sometimes it ends up turning a regular word like beach into a curse word or an offensive word like bitch. So this causes a ton of problems. The difference between E and I would definitely be a high value sound. Well, it's actually 2 sounds, but a high value goal for your students. So when a sound substitution causes big problems with meaning, with causing your student to say things they didn't mean to say, or to say something that's potentially embarrassing, That lets you know that this should be one of the first sounds that you work on. So you don't need to work on every single sound of English. You want to work on the sounds that affect the student's communication the most. Most of my students end up doing a 12-week program. I am very honest from day one that achieving a native sounding accent is not possible for most people. So even though most of my students need to work on a lot more sounds than we do work on, my goal for my students is always to build their confidence and to help them feel comfortable when they're speaking English, when they're expressing themselves. So I do 12-week programs with most of my students. So we only work on 12 sounds or concepts. Even though they probably could work on more, they sound so much better after 12 because I choose the high value sounds, the sounds that have the biggest impact. So if you choose your goals wisely, none of your students will ever need to work on every sound in English. In fact, most of the time you can get really great improvement with 12 well-chosen goals. Moving on to mistake number 2, working on everything at once because the student wants to fix everything all at once. That doesn't work. You need to stick to one sound or concept at a time. And I was so guilty of this one when I was younger. Even I would say the first 5 to 7, maybe even longer years. I tend to be a people pleaser, and I wanted to give my students so much value in each session. I also feel that I worked at a private practice where I was the youngest person. I think that I wasn't super confident in my skills, and I felt that I had something to prove. So I did that by spouting off all this great information that I had. I had so much great information and so many great exercises that would help my students. But at the end of the day, it was just overwhelming. It was overwhelming. The students were confused. They didn't have time to do all of the things that I wanted them to do, and the improvement just wasn't there. When I started to really restrict myself, to hold back a little and get the student to focus on one thing at a time, that's when I saw the real change, the permanent improvement, the fast results. And that's a bit counterintuitive. You would think that by teaching them everything, they would improve quickly, but it just doesn't happen that way. So you want to stick with one thing at a time because fixing everything at once doesn't work and your students won't return for more sessions. Your job as the teacher is to guide your students to break down that program into achievable pieces. As each new piece is added, pronunciation or the accent or spoken English, it changes, but it changes step by step by step. You can't fix everything all at once. Your brain can only handle so much change. The muscle memory required takes a little bit of time to develop. So one sound or concept at a time is the only way to achieve permanent, lasting improvement. Mistake number 3. Spending too much time reading out loud or using practice worksheets. Again, I was so guilty of this one, but when I was starting out, I think it was a lack of confidence. I didn't trust myself enough to really personalize my students' sessions by correcting them in the moment and then teaching in the moment. So I relied on those practice sheets. But the thing is, people are not coming to you to learn to be an incredible out loud reader. And by sticking to sheets or other visual, they could be video lessons, but anything that's visual is not helping the student sound better in real life conversations. And conversation is where it's the only place that it really matters. Conversation is where they want to hear the changes. So you must practice in conversations. Correct your student every time they miss the goal pronunciation when they are speaking. And this is the most valuable skill that we can offer our students. And this is the one thing that they can't get from YouTube or a speech recognition app or an online course. And I have YouTube videos and online courses, but that immediate self-correction in conversation is the one thing that they can't get, that they need to get from a real person in a private session or in a small group. And truly, this is what improves pronunciation most quickly and most permanently. This is the skill that works most effectively. So use conversational practice in your sessions. Don't rely so much on all those sheets and exercises and activities that don't involve a real conversational situation. There's also some research that shows that just being around the goal accent, hearing the goal accent, will change a person's rhythm, intonation, and pronunciation. And I'm sure you've experienced this. You are around someone with a particular accent. Sometimes you find that you start speaking that way. And this happens a lot with my students. And it will happen with yours. So just talking to you is helping them improve, especially if they are living in another country and trying to learn an American accent or American pronunciation. If they are not able to have conversations with any other native speakers of English, you're really going to help them just by talking to them, having a conversation. Now, I'm not saying never use a practice sheet, but just remember how important it is to practice in real conversations. That really is the key to permanent improvement. So those are the top 3 mistakes to avoid when teaching accents and pronunciation. Just a quick recap. Mistake number 1 is working on every sound of English. No one needs to work on every single sound. No one. Mistake number 2, working on everything at once or trying to cram too much into your sessions. Stick with one sound or concept at a time. Mistake number 3, spending too much time reading out loud or using practice sheets or worksheets with exercises. Conversational practice is the most effective way to change pronunciation or improve spoken English. If you want to learn more about teaching accents and pronunciation, about how to structure a session, or about how I create my 12-week programs and the most common pronunciation goals that I set for most of my students, I have a great new on-demand workshop. It's called Intro to Teaching Accents and Pronunciation, because that's what you're learning in it. And in it, I teach you everything that you need to know to get started. So if you're interested in becoming an accent or pronunciation instructor or speech coach, if you want to be in charge of your own business, set your own schedule, have your own students and your own materials, this is your next step. The workshop is very affordable. It's a 45-minute workshop and it's packed with techniques and strategies that you can use immediately to start working with your students and to start building your own business. So if you'd like to learn more about the workshop, go to theaccentchannel.com/teacher training courses and you'll get all the details. I will also post the link to the workshop, where the page where you can register, in the lesson notes for this episode. I also have a more extensive teacher training program that goes much deeper on finding your students, marketing your services, and developing your programs. And you can get more information about that at theaccentchannel.com/accent instructor. But if you're just starting out, the workshop is a perfect first step. So be sure to check out those pages, and I hope to see you in one of those courses someday soon. You can also join me in our free private Facebook group for accent, dialect, and pronunciation instructors, and you can find the link to the Facebook group in the lesson notes as well. That's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me here on Teacher's School at the Accent Channel. I hope you'll join me again when we discuss more topics related to teaching, accents, dialects, and pronunciation. Until then, stay safe and stay well. Have a great week.